My name is Cheryl Reese, and I live at 65 Punahele Street, which is below the Wailani project. First of all, let me qualify. Nobody doesn't like the Matsuuras. We all love them. They've been around for a long time with us. So good morning, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to comment. I have opposed this project area since it first began as University Terrace in 2004. And have the same repeated concerns for the Wailani project to a much greater degree. Area residents on Upper Punahele Street previously signed a petition also opposing the University Terrace project for the same issues and is included in that particular planning department project file. The Wailani project wants to build 700 residential units, close to the 750 requested in the original University Terrace proposal. At 2 vehicles per household, or roughly 1,400 vehicle round trips a day, adding 200 miscellaneous trips for visitors, you could have 1,700 vehicle trips for residential areas only. Commercial will add that to that total depending on the business type, and remember, the medical park is a business. There could be another 24 vehicle round trips plus in the medical park alone. So a conservative estimate of traffic added to both the Komohana corridor and Moho'uli extension could be in excess of 6,000 vehicles per day. There is no safe, practical plan for vehicular access to the project, then entering, exiting via Punahawai extension at Komohana and Moho'uli extension. Adding Pu'uhono Place to exit onto Komohana, given its limited sight distance and volume of daily traffic, and even with a right turn only restriction, could be a recipe for disaster. The police agree in their first evaluation with this premise. No street as is bordering the project is equipped to handle the projected vehicle counts and should not direct increased traffic through the old neighborhoods that weren't designed to handle the volume. And if they are to be improved, who foots the bill for this? University Terrace Plan, 49 acres next to the Sunrise Ridge subdivision is open space because of wetland areas. The project would build 138 residential lots in that same area. Water and drainage are huge concerns, particularly for downhill residents and businesses. Sewer connection is another basic county state services. For example, police, fire, EMS, DOE will be impacted. The fair share requirement should not be waived. No commercial, recreational, or any other non-residential use should be allowed next to existing residences surrounding the project as shown. Daily noise from patrons, cell phone usage, 4:30 a.m. trash pickup, business deliveries, vehicle alarms, accidents, restaurants, loud music, skateboarders, athletic games, homeless congregating, and criminal activity are realistically a part of the package. The developer should be required to install and regularly maintain a landscape buffer zone between the project's boundary and existing residential areas to minimize negative impacts on the project. Daily construction, noise, dust, diesel exhaust, etc. will affect the older residential areas on Upper Punahele, Kaumana Gardens, and along Kaumana Drive, and others bordering the project until the project is completed, and realistically, this will take years. With the inclusion of senior housing, the project should also provide a dedicated community center with staff designated and trained by county emergency responders to serve as an alternate emergency shelter to enhance our community's capabilities in a disaster. Our neighbors, many of them elderly or with young families, express their concerns over noise, peace of mind, quality of life, privacy, and maintenance issues. We were hopeful that our concerns would be seriously considered at 3 community meetings that the Wailani developers were kind enough to arrange, but ended without resolution. The community meetings stopped, and the residents who signed the petition and attended those community meetings still question or oppose the project as it now stands. They are afraid, and I am too. Please consider rejection of the project as presented. Thank you.
I'm Vianne Reese, and I respectfully ask that you deny the current application. Thank you for your consideration.
Good morning. My name is Dee Dee Sutherland. I live on Spring Street. I have, thank you so much for that. That was a concise and eloquent request from the residents. And everything that you said, we and our community agree with wholeheartedly and 1,000% above that. So thank you so much for doing that. My I have many concerns. This was a huge project, and every time someone spoke, I had yet another question. So I know we don't have the time because I have 14,000 questions now, and you summed much of it up. The increase in the residential density, of course, is major concern, and having access with walkable street, to me, says wide, slow for cars, and accessible and attractive to pedestrians and bicyclists. So that, to me, says sidewalks. Underground utilities, it's 2019. We really need to have underground utilities. Let's move forward on that. That, to me, is a no-brainer. We're in the 21st century. Let's do it right. That should be required, and that should not be an exception, in my opinion. And one of my main concerns is that as a project, they have not been a good neighbor. There is an ordinance, it's not an ordinance, it's a Hawaii administrative rule, it's 11-46, and that is the noise and working time for construction, and that means no work on Sundays, which I know you know because I've complained several times. You continue to blatantly and flagrantly work on Sundays and major holidays.
Excuse me, please address the commission.
Oh, sorry. The last time was Martin Luther King Day. That's strictly prohibited. And they've done this time and time and time again. So one of my major complaints is that they do not follow rules that me as a lay person am well aware of, and they as a major developer should be more concerned about the neighbors and our welfare. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is James Sutherland. I live on at 34 Spring Street. So I got the letter from Mr. Fouquet. I'm within a 300-foot range. And I have several concerns. I'm a retired fireman. One of my concerns is access for emergency access to the project. That on paper it says Willy Willy Street is emergency access only, and there will be barriers. Please do not put barriers between the Kaumana Fire Station responders and who should not have to go down Mohu'uli through a traffic light intersection to get into this project. And especially since we don't know when the Puanico extension will get to Mohu'uli. Let them go down Willy Willy Street and bang, they'll be right in the middle of this project, able to serve both the commercial and residential occupants. I think an 80-foot roadway is a little over the top. I think 60-foot is adequate, but like Lower Punahawai, but that got to come with sidewalks and paved swales. You know, they made those small guys on Lower Punahawai, the fourplex and the Nakai rehab center, and made them put in paved swale and sidewalks. I don't think these guys should get a pass on that. I also agree that about the underground utilities. You know, let's do it right. And as a firefighter, I know if you put a bunch of poles up along roadways, people will smack them. And if you have underground utilities, it's safer as well as more aesthetically correct, and less maintenance for Helco for that matter. Oh yes, I'd like there to be. I'm happy to hear that they're going to leave Pu'uhonu intact in its natural state. That's pretty much my backyard as a Spring Street resident. They're at the adjacent recreational area, 7 acres, Mauko, Pu'uhonu. I'd like there to be pedestrian access from Wailani Street so that people in our neighborhood could enjoy that park as well as the future occupants of the subdivision. And the noise issues. You know, I'd like them to comply with that. And originally, they got planning department gave them 3 years, and that runs out July 29th. They haven't made much progress. I know financing, et cetera, but let's get on with it. And this project's going to come to our neighborhood. Let's do it. And be good neighbors while you do. Thank you.
My name is Steve Hannigan. I live at 734 LaHoe Street in Sunrise Ridge. I did get this from Mr. Fouquet, but I feel like it's completely inadequate to all of the information that I could have had for the meeting today, had the public and the people who are within the 300-foot zone should have probably had a lot more information to be better prepared. I know you're going to vote today on it, but I would have liked to have had the same information that was presented and be able to respond better to it. Being that we didn't have that, I can say that some of the testimony I've heard, I like. Underground utilities should be absolute. I can't believe we're not doing that. I am concerned with the road coming down from, I think it's the bypass, the Mahuli bypass, that would come down the side of Sunrise Ridge. It looks like there's only one exit for that road, potentially a bit of a problem there in the case of an emergency. I feel that the lady who mentioned the zones, the sort of zones to be established that would, where the development abuts already existing residential areas. That was a good idea. I like that. Meantime, I'd like to say that I would have liked to have had more time. Thank you.
Don't start my time till, okay, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Let's agree on when you're starting my time. Can you put your hand up when you're doing it? Thank you. I'm Claudia Rohr. November 21st, 2000. A great wall of water washed over this property, took out all the vegetation, clogged the culvert on Komahana, ripped it out, and went down through the subdivision below, through somebody's living room, jumped back on over to the next door roadway, took out all the cars that were parked on that, and it all ended up down on in the soccer fields downtown. This is before Michael Yee came. This is before Robin Matsumoto, who exempted this project from environmental review, before she worked here, and before the fellow who is in charge of the environmental management had his job. This is a sensitive area of high concern with floodwater. I called emergency management, the liaison between the county and the FEMA program. If you guys make a mistake and approve development that goes against the principles of the FEMA program, our county can lose its FEMA program. I use that program. Therefore, I have standing to insist that you do environmental review. You cannot exempt a project when they're based on one portion of it. It can't be segregated out. You have to consider the whole project. Not only that, you have to write to various agencies and consult with them. You have to call the OEQC and consult with them. There's steps to be taken. You can't produce a letter the day before this hearing and convince you guys, who are going to be sued along with the planning director, the emergency management person, and public works, because you didn't do environmental review, where this is a flood water that comes down to Hilo Town. This is not about a local family doing a great project. It's about the families who already live below this project, protecting them. You have an obligation not to lose our FEMA program. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Dwight Vicente. I'm representing the Hawaiian Kingdom. Full disclosure, I don't see all the information that's required to be in there. First of all, the lands here are either Crown or government lands, and the jurisdiction of the state of Hawaii is limited to the 1.8 million acres. The 2.4 million acres was under lease contract under King Kalakaua for 25 years, so they're not, those lands would have been, contract would have been impaired, so the Republic of Hawaii only gave the 1.8 million acres illegally to the United States. That became the territory of Hawaii, 1920, Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, 1959, Compact, Hawaiian Homes Commission Act / State of Hawaii. So the jurisdiction be limited to 1.8 million acres, and it's all questionable. Now, I think these lands here was the contract lands under King Kalakaua for 25 years. They're not included. They're still belonging to the Hawaiian Kingdom. And I think you guys don't have jurisdiction over these, the 2.4 million acres. That's why when you read about the Admission Act, Palmyra Island, Johnson Island is not included. They're not part of the 1.8 million acres. They're part of the 2.4 million acres. So unless the whole history is put out there, and another thing too, I want to remind people, the treaties of all countries ended in 1897. The only treaty that was not included was the Reciprocity Treaty, because that was not a treaty at all. King Kalakaua didn't sign it. The US president didn't sign it. They had 3 US citizens that did it who's not authorized. And they rely on that in Downs versus Bidwell to take over this kingdom. Cy versus Clinton and Cy versus Trump, most recently. But the argument in Downs versus Bidwell is based on the kings of Europe, what they're doing, not the United States Constitution. So whatever the European kings was doing, the United States has no amendment to do as the kings were doing in Europe. So conquest and by treaty didn't happen. Neither happened. So the jurisdiction is, what are you dealing with? Do you have jurisdiction over the 2.4 million acres? And another thing too I want to point out, under the Mahele, you don't own land. There's native tenant right, the lands are Crown and government lands, all subject to native tenant rights. And the lands was only leased out. Back then it was 3 to 5 years until King Kalakaua, that was bumped up to 25 years. So a lot of the leases ended in 1925. And that's why the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act doesn't include those lands. Hawaiian Homes Commission Act is 1920. And if you read about the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, the 2.4 million acres is not included. And I think this lands in question today is not included, so the question of jurisdiction. But again, it's full disclosure. And I hear a lot of times people say, oh, they was born and raised here, but under what condition? Treaties ended in 1897. Unless you're not naturalized native national of the Hawaiian Kingdom, you have to be naturalized to the Hawaiian Kingdom or be here on a valid treaty, and treaties all ended. So I reserve the rights of the kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you all.
He's saying is that the recommendations weren't available to you until yesterday. I looked at the file last week, Thursday or Friday.
Excuse me.
The recommendations were not in there.
Public testimony has closed. We'll
Don't cover it up. You haven't even had a chance to review the recommendations. They came out too late.
So the item that we need to discuss is whether we're going to get any motion for action, either favorable or unfavorable.
Mr. Chairman, can I move for continuance to the next meeting in March?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that this agenda item be continued for 1 month until our next meeting.